Hey, you. Yeah, you. Do you want more horsepower in your NASCAR? Do you want the roar of the engines to be less restricted? Well, then you might have something really good coming your way. This past week on the Hauler Talk podcast that NASCAR puts out, they talked in depth about the possibility of an increase in horsepower in the NASCAR Cup Series, possibly maybe in the coming months, years, who knows. They said that they had a meeting with the owners that they usually have every few months here and there as part of the charter agreement. And one of the big talking points was horsepower. Drivers have been embracing it, fans have been clamoring for it, NASCAR's been hesitant on it, but even the engine builders like Yates in the past have said that 750 probably wouldn't be anything really that bad and they could do it within the year if it were done early. Denny Hamlin's talked about it, and finally, NASCAR's own podcast is talking about it. Now, they did say, and I think people should know this before going in, that 900 to 1,000 horsepower is probably not going to happen anytime soon. They said never say never, but if you listen to the actual clip, which I will link down below, it was very much a never say never because you don't want to close the door completely, but it's pretty much never. But 750 from the talk of it, or maybe even around there, so maybe we can even bump it to 800, I don't know, just saying. That looks to be the current goal for them. And with that, it raises a couple of questions for me. And I think should be questions for and from just about everybody about this. The first one is, can this be put in place in 2025? It seems like there's actually a possibility for this, as they did leave the door open for it, and this one wasn't talked down about as much as, say, going to 900 to 1,000. It was more, it's going to be a kind of difficult thing, but it's on the radar, actually. And this is something that I think is desperately needed, because while the Coke 600 was awesome, while we've had great races early in the year, the majority of March through May has been a just bad time for fans. It's been boring. It's been strung out. It has not been great racing, whether it be mile and a half, short tracks, you name it. And there is a bit of question about where this could be done. Well, my guess is they would probably do it at 3 tracks if they were going to try it out as a test for next year: Iowa, Watkins Glen, and Richmond. Iowa and Richmond are 2 short tracks. Short tracks have suffered the most from this, and while those 2, I think in particular, haven't been hurt as much as, say, Bristol and Martinsville, they are still a good litmus test to see what kind of improvement, or at least change, if there's not an improvement, can be made. And of course, Watkins Glen, because the road courses have not really been that far behind when it comes to the struggle bus of tracks. On the maybe front, I think they maybe could do a sweep of the first round of the playoffs: Darlington, Gateway, and Bristol. But I don't think that NASCAR wants to affect the championship battle as much, seeing how that's not something that they have ever really done when it comes to testing in the past for these things. And that's the thing, there are precedents for them making changes and splitting the changes as well. When you look at the test races, for instance, which is what it sounds like they might be able to do, unless they just do a full sweep change of the rules in the middle of the year, which I doubt they would do. But 2015, they basically did aero test races at Indianapolis and Michigan. They almost could be seen as the first high drag package side of it for the 550 package when you look at the way that those cars were at the time. Indianapolis and Michigan, those 2 races in 2015, not the greatest. When you look at splitting the type of cars that they have when it comes to the setup or just in general, 2007 and 2021 are really apt comparisons to what could possibly maybe happen in 2026. 2021, there was a split where tracks that were a mile and a half or larger, well, they got their 550 races, whereas everybody else got the 750. It was a really good mixture where NASCAR got the 750 racing that fans wanted for short tracks and road courses and such, but the 550, at least close-looking racing they wanted for the mile and a halves and intermediates. And of course, the biggest one is when they had 2 different cars during a season. 2007 with the COT and the Gen 4 splitting time before going full-time in 08 to the COT. So the big question from this is, When will this happen? 2025, or will it happen in 2026? Well, the 2025 part we've kind of covered, and that's really a maybe. They would have to go in more depth about this, and if we're able to find out about it, we'll probably find out by, say, the end of June, give or take, I would think. Again, I don't think they would test during the playoffs. But what about 2026? To me, I think this is a yes, if you're at least coming from my uncultured opinion. A lot of talk on this subject has been in the airwaves for NASCAR in recent days and weeks. And I don't think that that is something that just comes out of the blue, and this is something that's just coincidentally talked about. There's been a lot of push for this, and there's been a lot of talk from those in the industry and fans alike of trying to do this. I do think that it's been heavily pushed, and that year 5 needs to have bigger changes for the next gen car. You can't just keep on keeping on and do the same thing over and over again. Year 5 with the COT full-time would have been in the year of 2012. When you look again at the Gen 6 era, year 5 is going to be all the way out in 2017. And those, again, are around the times that NASCAR looked to make huge swings and changes at their cars. I don't think the next gen will be any different. While there is new leadership from those past talked about events, I do think that NASCAR holds steady on trying to remain on those larger precedents. And the biggest question with all of this that people have to ask, is this the fix, or at least a part of the fix? To me, it's partially maybe. Because we've heard before, people like Tyler Reddick, who have said that even going up to 1,000 horsepower might not make a huge difference. And as much as we would love that, that's just not feasibly possible without further testing and probably innovation with the cars. Aero is a huge factor in the racing right now. We saw the aero blocking the Coke 600. There needs to probably be more off-throttle time, and that could probably help as well. But there's probably a lot of things top to bottom that need to be reevaluated with this car, because in every single way, there are parts of this car that are affecting the racing in a negative aspect, at least according to experts. I think that they are probably going to try and get to 750 next year. Will it affect the racing? Probably not in the major extent that it did, say, in 2021, but I think to an extent with the softer tires, that is a real possibility. I think the real swing and change is going to be when the hybrid engine someday somehow shows up, because there's talk of adding maybe 150 to 200 horsepower to that, and if that's the case, you're looking at 900 to close to 1,000 horsepower with the hybrid components. But that's a long way off, and I think NASCAR is probably pushing that off until it's a better market to do so. So with that, I want to know what you think. Do you think NASCAR will increase the horsepower to 750 this year or next? Let me know down in the comments below. And do you think it'll help? Well, all right, leave a like in this video, share this video, and subscribe to this channel for more great and fun NASCAR content. Thank you so much to all my channel members for your continued support. And be sure tomorrow night to watch NWP live on Eric Estep's channel. All 3 hosts will be in the same place for the first time in years for one of these shows. So until then, have a good one.